Welcome to Career UpRising. I'm your host and professional career coach, Lorraine Rise. Join me as I guide you through an amazing journey of self-discovery and empowerment. If you are looking for work, changing careers, or stuck in a toxic job, then this is the show for you. I offer both practical and spiritual guidance to help you up-level and advance your career. Let's start the uprising. Hey everyone, you are listening to episode 126, Master the Salary Negotiation. Hey everybody, welcome back to the show. Take a moment to give this show a rating and review if you don't mind. The listenership is growing and I appreciate it very much. So if this is your first episode, it might be for some people. I put this show out usually every other Monday, so that's a good day to check Apple Podcasts or my website for a new episode, and make sure you subscribe as well so that you get notified. We're just moving right along. I feel like I have really done consistent shows in 2022, and there's more in the pipeline. I've been able, luckily, to really commit to creating more content, and that's due in large part to me coming out of a lot of the day-to-day client work and taking on more of a CEO role in the business, which has been wonderful, and I'm continuing to do more and more of that, but I am still very much hands-on in other ways in the business and touching base with clients and reviewing documents and still maintaining a few coaching clients too. So I'm a busy gal, but it's been a commitment of mine to continue this show. And I also started a LinkedIn newsletter as well. That is also brand new. So if you are not connected or following me on LinkedIn, go do that, because every 2 weeks I am putting out a new article. And it was so cool. Just in the 24 hours after launching the newsletter, I had like 700 subscribers just immediately. It was so exciting to see that. So every 2 weeks, I'll be putting out a new article, and it's free, but you do have to follow me on LinkedIn and subscribe to the newsletter. It's called Get Hired Over 40. I thought that was very apt title. So other big news real quick before we dive into the topic. In case you didn't hear, I did announce on the last show that I have a brand new, completely different program option for everyone out there who's ever said that they can't afford to work with me. Now you can. I just launched a new monthly membership program where you can be a subscriber to Career UpRising every month for a very, very low cost without having to invest in a larger program if you're not able to. And of course, the deepest, longest lasting transformation is going to come from that ongoing one-on-one work. But I know that there are many of you out there who simply can't afford it, and I don't want you to not get the help that you need. So I have a solution for that. If you'd like to work with me and you need the help, but the cost has been in the way, you can now go to subkit.com/careeruprising and learn about the 2 tiers of programs that I have for you. One is only $75 a month. The other is $179 a month, and that's all it takes to get coaching with me, group and individual coaching, depending on which tier you choose. But truly, with a cost that low, there is no barrier. If you're motivated and you're serious about getting results, there's nothing stopping you. It's not the money anymore. Because if we let that little cost stop us, we'll let anything stop us. Truly, that's no longer the barrier. So now we have to see if there's any internal barriers within you. Are you lacking confidence, not motivated, not sure if it'll work? We can work through all of that. And if you're not sure if it'll work, listen to the episode I just recorded 2 weeks prior with my friend and client, Brian McMullen. He is a shining example of what happens when you commit yourself to a process, invest in yourself, and have a positive attitude. He truly was a great client on the career transformation. So I interviewed him just in the last episode that came out, I think July 11th. So check that out if you missed that one. All right. Let's get into it. Let's talk about money. One of my favorite topics. This is such a timely topic right now too, because truly this week I just had several clients get job offers, which means I was helping clients negotiate their salaries, several of them. So a lot of money talk going on right now. One of the clients actually got multiple offers too, which is so, so exciting. And I will be honest, I'm going to toot my own horn just a smidge here and say I am really effective at this. I've had a great track record of success helping clients and my husband to negotiate more money. Money is simply an energy and it's a language, one that I speak. And I want to teach you how to speak that same language as well. All right. So what I'm going to do is lay out really specific rules and tips here for negotiation. Okay. I've got 3 quick tips for every negotiation just to kind of lay the foundation. Then I'm actually going to go through specific dialogue for different situations. I'm going to read you this dialogue. So after this show, you are going to know exactly what to say in your next negotiation. And feel free to just take it, steal it. I'm giving it to you freely. All right. And this can work. A lot of this dialogue is written more for an external job offer, but you can use these same core principles to negotiate a promotion internally as well. You might adjust some of the language a little bit, but the core of it is going to be the same. All right. So, number 1, try to delay the conversation until an offer is made. All right. You have the most negotiating power at the time of an offer, but before accepting it, of course, right? So discussing it too early sometimes can leave you at a disadvantage because you don't have the full information about the job. I want you to learn everything that you can about the job first so that you have more information when you do quote them a number. Also, the benefit to this is the further we get in the process, the more time they've invested in you, the more they know you, the more they like you. The further they take you in the process, the more they've invested in it and they want to make it work, and they're more likely to meet your salary demands, provided they are reasonable and, within the market average. But there's a number of reasons here why we want to delay this conversation, if possible. It works in your favor. Now, the only time I will say to break this rule is if you, as the job seeker, have a hard number, like a deal breaker, and you just want to get it out of the way and make sure that they can meet that salary because salary is the most important thing for you. A lot of people, it's not the only factor. They would be willing to take a lower salary if other arrangements or agreements are met. If that is not the case for you and you just have a number that you either need or want for whatever reason, and it's a deal breaker, you might want to get that out of the way sooner because if they can't even come close to it, it is going to waste everyone's time. So that is the only time I would say to break that is if it is the number one most important factor and pretty much nothing else matters. And there are some people out there, maybe they're passively looking and don't need to get a new job. So the only thing that would make them make a move is a higher salary. Well, that's fine. It is what it is. There's nothing wrong with that. But most people I work with, it's a lot more complex than that. So it's an individual case-by-case thing. But in most cases, you do want to delay the conversation. Okay, number 2. These are my 3 quick rules for every negotiation. Number 2, ask the company to disclose their salary first. Yes, you can do this. It's not pushy. It's not rude, not any more than it is for them to ask you your salary requirements, which you know they're going to do. So you're only doing the same thing. If they can ask you, you can ask them. Simply state that you're willing to negotiate, you're happy to talk about it, but you want to talk about it with respect to their budget. So for example, you might say, I know every company has a different budget, even for similar positions. So I'm happy to negotiate, but could you first tell me what the approximate range is that the company has set aside so I can negotiate within that range? Try that. I've done it. I've done it with success. All right. So, number 3, companies expect you to negotiate. They do. Most employers fully expect that you will negotiate your salary at some point in the process. Okay, you're not going to be the first or the last. They're not going to be that surprised. They might even be surprised or relieved if you don't. So make your request a little bit on the higher end, knowing that they may try to talk you down a bit. And they're not going to rescind the offer just because you negotiated. Even if they did, trust me, that means you don't want to work for them. But they're not going to do that. Okay? I mean, companies do rescind offers from time to time. They have a right, but it is highly unlikely that they will do that just because you wanted to negotiate a little bit more. That's crazy. And like I said, if they do, be glad they showed their true colors before you took the job, because you should run the other way from that company. All right? But this is the biggest barrier to people negotiating their salary more often. They're worried that this is going to happen or that it's going to strain the relationship somehow. And that is nonsense. It should not strain the relationship. If you are being polite and professional and just cooperating and starting a dialogue, we're not necessarily making a demand, but I mean, you could, but all we're doing is saying, I'd like to start the negotiation at this level. How close to that can you come? Something like that. That's very reasonable and diplomatic. All right. Typically, the worst that will happen is that they will come back and say, I'm sorry, we can't do that salary, but are you still interested in the job? And then you can just make a decision, but feel good knowing that you asked. Okay. All right. We are just warming up. Let's take a quick commercial break. When we get back, I'm going to walk you through specific situations and the dialogue for what you want to say in your next negotiation. So you will feel confident and empowered and know exactly what words need to come out of your mouth. So we're going to help you with that. We will be right back. Hey, everyone. If you're like a lot of people, you've been wanting to work with me and sign up for the Career UpRising program, but you don't think you can afford it. Good news. You don't have to feel stuck anymore. I just launched a brand new monthly subscription program that everyone can afford. I've partnered with a new platform called Subkit, Subkit, and I'm offering 2 levels of affordable and effective programs. Get access to a library of digital content exclusive to members that will cover every aspect of changing jobs and careers. And you'll get access to group coaching calls twice a month to get help with your own personal situation. And for level 2 members, you can also get one-on-one coaching with me monthly. Best of all, these programs start at just $75 a month. That's it, $75 a month, no large upfront costs, and you can cancel anytime. I can't make it easier or more affordable than that. Isn't it your turn to be a success story? Isn't it time for you to get unstuck in your career? Well, now that the money is out of the way, what's stopping you? Go to subkit.com/careeruprising. That's subkit, subkit.com/careeruprising. And sign up for my monthly membership today. I can't wait to connect with you. All right, let's get back to the show. Okay, guys, so we have lots more to cover here. So prior to any negotiation, I want you to determine your personal desired range, and I want you to focus on these 3 numbers. First, you're going to have your ideal number. This is the highest possibility that you think you could earn, and it's what you really, really want in a perfect world. Not $1 million, but something that's still within the market value for that position, but it's on the higher end. It's your ideal number. Next, I want you to have your target number. This is the most realistic possibility. It's kind of in the middle. You'd definitely still be happy with it. It's probably most realistic what they would be able to offer you. All right. Then I want you to have your deal breaker number. This is the lowest that you'll accept and still be happy with the job. So again, it should still be fair market value, but probably on the lower end. So we have our ideal number, what we really want, our target, which is probably what we think we're going to get, and our deal breaker, which is the lowest we will go without walking away. Okay? So get straight first on those numbers. So for example, let's say that you'd like to make $80,000. Your ideal number would be 87 or 85 or 87, somewhere a little higher than that. Okay, maybe 90 even. I'd say $5,000 to $10,000 range. So your ideal number would be anywhere from 85 to 90. Your target is 80, as we said, and your deal breaker might be 75. Make sense? It's pretty simple. Just a high, mid, and a low. Have that and feel confident and firm in that before you go into a negotiation. So here is some dialogue for some specific situations. So let's say if they ask you in an early first round interview or a phone screen, I want you to say something similar to this. My number one priority now is to learn more about the organization and this role to determine if I'm the best match for your needs. If an offer is extended, I'd be more than happy to negotiate with you at that time, and I'm confident we'll be able to reach an agreement. Plain and simple. That's it. Very polite, professional, diplomatic. See what they say after you try that one effort to delay. If they persist and ask you for your salary, say something like this. I'm prepared to negotiate depending on the range that you are offering and the total compensation package. As I mentioned, as long as your offer is within the fair market average for this position, I don't anticipate salary being an issue. I'd also like to know what general range the company has in mind. Can you share that with me? So I tossed it back to them, right? I tried to let them know, look, I'm willing to negotiate, but it depends on the total compensation and it needs to be fair market value. It shouldn't be an issue, but go ahead and then ask them, what is the range that the company has in mind? Punt it back to them, okay? It's only fair. So if at any point too, they ask you for your current or previous salary, not just your expectations, this might shock you. I want to challenge you to say this. Since that's actually personal information, I don't usually give that out, but given the research that I've done and what I know about your company and this position, I don't anticipate salary being an issue. How's that? Probably not what you thought I was going to say, right? Here's the thing. It is personal information. It's none of their damn business what you've been making. Man, woman, old, young, it is none of their damn business, okay? You do not have to give that information out. Unless, again, I'm going to break this rule. Sometimes it could help your situation to reveal your current salary. But we probably don't know that. It's too early in the discussion to know if what they're going to offer you is less than what you make. That's really the only time I would advocate that you reveal your past salary is if you know it helps your cause because they are below what you were making before. Then obviously we can say, well, my most recent compensation was actually $150,000. I'd like to not take a pay cut. Can we at least start the negotiation at a lateral move for $150? Or how close to the $150 can you come? Something like that. But if we're early in the stage and we've only done a phone screen or one interview, you probably don't know that. So don't show your cards. Don't give them that information that they may use against you and probably will. So I want you to simply tell them that that's actually something you consider to be personal information and you don't give it out, but you don't think it'll be an issue based on the research that you've done. See what they say to that. That ought to throw HR for a loop, right? So here's one more situation. What about when you are intentionally accepting a position that pays less than what you make? And people do that. They worry about being overqualified. Here's what I want you to try saying in that case. Of course, compensation is important to me, but it's not my only priority right now. I'm more concerned about finding a position that I can enjoy and grow in. If an offer is extended, I'm confident that we can reach an agreement that works for both of us. Very polite, diplomatic, all right? That's what we're going for. Easy. Then, whenever the time comes that you do need to disclose a number, always give them a range, not one specific number. come prepared with a quote that you have researched, or I'm sorry, a range that you can quote that you have researched. Okay. So do your research ahead of time and quote them something that you would be happy being anywhere on that scale. But the reason we want to give a range is because we don't necessarily want them to think that, oh, 75,000 is what you'll take. I want you to give them the possibility that you may be expecting a little bit more. And so so when you do quote that, here's the dialogue I want you to use. And I want you to say it in this way. I'm currently considering positions in the range of 100 to 150,000, which I know is aligned with the market average for a role like this. Is that in line with what your company was expecting to pay? I want you to say, I'm currently considering positions. And I want you to say that whether it's true or not, because they also don't necessarily need to know if you have any other offers or interviews on the table. That's also none of their business unless you want to reveal that. Okay. And sometimes we only reveal that usually if it's in our advantage. But regardless, you are actively applying and in a job search. So that is more than enough for you to feel comfortable saying, I'm currently considering positions. But I like saying that because there's this little kind of hint in there or subtext of, hey, listen, I ain't only talking to you. I'm talking to other companies too, right? Don't forget that. I'm actively applying and talking to other companies. So say, I'm currently considering positions. It puts you in a position of power. It's different than saying, I'd like, or I want, or, it would be nice. But a lot of times we do say, I'd like to be at. Forget what you'd like, okay? There's what your job is worth and what you will take. And that's what matters, okay? I don't care if you were only making 75,000. If you were underpaid, you deserve to be paid what the market average is. So we're not going to base this negotiation on what you want. We're basing it on what your job is worth and how much of a badass you are, right? And so we're going to say, I'm currently considering positions in this range, which I know is aligned with the market average. That's what matters in a negotiation, okay? All right. I'm loving this. I'm getting into it, you guys. I'm having fun. Hope you are too. All right. Let's wrap it up with a couple extra little bonus tips for you. So here's 4 additional tips to keep in mind for any negotiation. Number 1, consider the total compensation package. If they can't meet you on salary, ask them about other benefits like time off, telecommuting benefits, or if you're in the office, maybe in better office space, flex scheduling, PTO, whatever it is. A lot of those items are negotiable. Not always. Every company is a little different. Some are more consistent. They want everyone to start out the same. Some are not necessarily. Just ask. It's not going to hurt. And not every job seeker values the same things. In my recruiting days, a lot of people value PTO more than salary. That's up to you, and let them know that so they can craft a package that is more attractive to you based on what you are more interested in. And 2, if any of these benefits are less than what you currently get or most recently in your last position, please tell them that. Say, my most recent PTO was actually 4 weeks. I see that you've offered 3. Is there any way we can get that up to my current level? Very, very reasonable. All right. So even 401k contribution, although I feel like that tends to be more consistent. I don't know if I've seen companies be as flexible with that. And health insurance premiums being paid, things like that. But it's possible. So just ask what else, since you can't meet me on salary, what other aspects of this might be negotiable? Perfectly okay to ask. Number 2, if again, they can't meet you on the salary that you want, but you still love the job and you want to take it, negotiate a 90-day salary review. So this means that they're going to write it into your offer letter, because if it's not in writing, it doesn't exist. Remember that. Have them write it into your letter that they will sit down with you and do a performance and salary review at 90 days, or maybe 6 months at the very, very latest, okay? But if they truly can't meet the salary that you want and you like the job, this is probably your best recourse, is ask them to let you at least get in the job for a couple of months and then revisit the conversation. Now, no, that salary increase that you get at that point might be small. It might be like a 3% or something, kind of more like a yearly review, but it's something, or it could be more. It's hard to say. But you also, you take a little bit of a risk with that because you don't know if they'll give you, a raise or exactly how much they should, but you're at least opening up that door for a salary review to start that conversation again in 90 days. Okay. So make sure you get that in writing. I've been successful with that as well. I've had my husband do that. It definitely is an option. Number 3, just generally keep your tone of voice light and friendly throughout the entire time. And I realize as I say this too, some people might be doing these negotiations over email. I think that's okay. It's probably best over the phone, if you can. I just think that you can build a rapport, gauge their feedback and their willingness a lot better, and just have a conversation. It's probably best over the phone. If that's not an option, obviously you can do it through email, but whether it's over the phone, keep your voice friendly and light and positive, or the tone of your email. Either way, just be very mindful of your tone, because we want this whole thing to be as comfortable as possible. We don't want anything to get uncomfortable or defensive or anything like that. It's not necessary. If they can't or won't meet what you want, you just have a decision to make, and that's not a bad thing. You just decide if you still want it or not. And there is no right or wrong. There's just what you choose. Number 4, do your research. So know where to go for that. You can find baseline salary information at Glassdoor, salary.com, and also LinkedIn. If you're a premium member on LinkedIn, they do have a salary feature there where you can get information. So do salary research ahead of time and go to a couple different sites to make sure that you're getting the same general numbers. You want to look for trends, okay? But the best place really, if you can, to do salary research is to talk to your network. If you have people who are in the same industry or same line of work, especially if someone's in a similar position or maybe hires for a similar position that you're accepting, you can ask them. And you don't have to ask them what they make. You can just say, I'm negotiating an offer right now for a director of marketing position, and I know that's your wheelhouse. I was wondering if you could give me some guidance on the salary. I have X number of years of experience, and I'm looking to ask for $100,000, whatever it is. Do you think that's in line? What would be your advice? You can just share with them what the situation is and get their advice. You don't have to ask what they make or anything like that. But get information from your network. Let them help you. Wow, that was jam-packed. You guys might have to go back and listen again and pause the recording, because I feel like we covered a ton of ground, and I talk fast. I try not to, but I'm a fast person. So there's a lot to unpack in that one. I'd love to coach you through this. Please let me know if I can help you. You can go to my website, careeruprising.com. You can also go to subkit.com/careeruprising and look at my new membership programs. Either way, I can help you with this, and I will be back with more episodes in August. And I hope you guys are having a wonderful summer, soaking up that sunshine. And I love you guys and appreciate all of your listening, and I'll be back soon. Take care. That's it for today's show. Thank you so much for listening. If you like what you heard today, please consider giving the show a positive review on iTunes. It would mean a lot to me, and it would help to spread the word so that others can learn about the show. Thanks again for tuning in, and I can't wait to connect with you again next time on Career Uprising.
This show is brought to you by InflowRadio.com, the best curated talk radio network for personal development, wellness, spirituality, and conscious business.